far over there? You sure? Can you see? All right, thank you. Okay, before I jump into version 7, I just want to say something that because we have some new faces here today. I think this is the first time you have seen MonsoonSIM, yes? Yeah. So I would like to start appropriately, I think, with a new presentation of MonsoonSIM, which we will release to all of you. And this presentation is very well timed because I'll start with this presentation, which I'll share with all of you as user, as well as partner, and for the benefit of the newcomers. Okay? So I will start with that presentation. All right, so here we go. So this is a new presentation. MonsoonSIM design principles. Okay, business concepts are intrinsically complicated, complex, and integrated, and interrelated. So teaching business is a very complex matter. So what we have done is we have aggregated all the business concepts. We put it into big modules. Now notice here we have added the latest is e-commerce, and we have added right in the middle of these modules, so that I think it's very appropriate if you can use e-commerce before you start your warehouse and so on. Now notice that here we have a little vertical items, and what are they? And those are called micro concepts. So let's take a look at those micro concepts. In finance, for example, we have cash on hand, operating expense, equity, and so on and so on and so on. It's same thing with procurement. We have lead time, discount, payment terms, credit limit, and so on and so on. Okay, so every module will come with a lot of micro concepts, and the micro concepts are increasing almost weekly or monthly, certainly monthly. We will be adding a lot of micro concepts as we go along in version 7 under the release. Okay, so if you see a new release, you've seen some new micro concepts. And those micro concepts, when we added it, don't worry, it will not disrupt the way you teach. It will be evolutionary. You will not even feel it. But if you want to explore it, you're welcome to explore it. Every time we come up with new micro concept, we will give you a new video. So you can just learn it from your video, and then you learn, okay, so this is something that you can use and include in your curriculum. Now, so if you want to take a look at the detail of those micro concepts, here they are. And I can really drill down, and you can see all the micro concepts. And of course, they are expanding, as I said, weekly or at least monthly. Okay, I'm not going to look at the details. There are a lot of them. Now, can we show me? So what we do is that we then have these micro concepts. We allow our students to learn it horizontally. MonsoonSIM, we do not really teach vertically. We don't encourage that, because that is what we have been doing traditionally. We have been teaching concept by concept traditionally on a vertical basis, marketing, course planning, etc., etc. Now, the way MonsoonSIM do is horizontal learning. And for the beginners, you just have a fun, exciting games. So you learn the surface, and this is applicable for anyone without any business knowledge, without any prerequisite. Okay, we have done it in primary school, we have done it in middle school, high school, etc. Everyone can participate, and everyone can learn the basic business concept through these beginners modules. And then you can take it further. You include more micro concepts, intermediate, and more advanced. And then for those who are becoming very familiar with this, you can configure your own unique courses. Okay? Here I have in my hand the complete MonsoonSIM concepts. Okay, so I'll pass around and take a look at it. If I print out all the micro concepts, you can see. Okay, so these are the concepts. Now, which means that before MonsoonSIM, the way you study is pretty much one by one, subject by subject. But with MonsoonSIM, you are learning everything integrated, always. So that's the design principles. Now, on top of these, we have also added a number of utilities, I would say. Let's take a look at the first one. We can give you environment management, which means that you can define your teams, timing and tempo, certificates, assessments, robots. So you can use this to teach. And when it comes to configurations, you can configure the following. You can configure customers, suppliers, products, services, warehouse, retail, location, employee, etc., etc. These are all the things that you can configure. But you don't have to. Okay, all this is available to you in a very nice default. So when you run the game, you can start almost immediately. Within 1 minute, you can start a game. You don't have to do any changes. You don't have to make any changes to these configurations. All right, so I'll jump around. I'll jump in. All this game report, micro concept. All right, so let me continue. Which means that can I still use this? Yeah, okay. So as a teacher, you can configure MonsoonSIM into various business environments. And then you use your horizontal learning experience. Okay? And that is your increasing difficulties and evolving concepts. Alright? Okay, so these are a lot of YouTubes and documents for you. Okay, so I'm not going to go into this. So this is the new presentation that we'll release in CT resources. Okay, Jackie will put it in the CT resources, and then everybody can download it or can use it. You can feel free to copy it and modify it for your own usage. Okay now? All right. What now? Now I'm going to jump into the presentation for 7. Any questions so far? There we go. Okay, version 7. First thing you will see in version 7 is active game being played. In the past, when you are running your server, you may run into conflict with the other teacher who is using the same server. So sometimes you say, oh, how come I only have 20 users quota when my server is 25? But actually someone is running with 5 users, for example. Which means that you can actually look at this and say, oh, someone is running with this game code, existing concurrent player, and the CT is, so you can call them up and say that, you know, are you stopping the game anytime soon? Because if you are, I'm going to continue. Okay, so that applies not only when you are in master server, but also in the game server. You can also see that. All right? Okay. Secondly, second changes is you no longer need to limit the city name into 7 characters. Sorry about that. And I think there's Derek has been saying that, how come I have to reduce this name all the time? No, you don't need to. So we have made it so that you can see the city name here, and you don't need to repeat the name here, right? Okay, so far? Yes. Okay. Next version, next changes Next change is the process control. Remember, every time when you apply, when you do something, you need to have this approval. In the new version, you can control it. You say, no, I don't need to approve this, and now I'm going to show you live. Okay, so I'm going to a game. Version 7. Okay, let's take one please. So in the event that you don't want to, you feel that you're confident enough, your team will do it without any approval, you just come to finance and process control. Here, there are a lot of process that you can say, no, I do not need any approval. So for example, no loan, no problem. Rental, staff dismissal, staff transfer, etc., etc. So if you turn it on, you need to approval. If you turn it off, you take your own risk. And you may run into problem if you do not do approval. But that's your risk and consequence, okay? Yes.
This is the user control by themselves? Or
Yes,
okay.
User control by themselves. Any other issue? Any question?
For the CT, they are able to disable this function or not?
No.
Okay.
Currently, we allow, the city cannot disable, so they have to, wait a second, let me check. In general?
In case of for the very first class, right? Maybe
Correct.
we are no need to activate these features.
Okay,
Maybe
let's
it's too
see.
complicated.
Process control?
No, but if it is a good idea, we could put it in.
Yeah.
And it probably will fall into general modules. So you can control, no, I don't want to let them control. So I will default. And every time you reset it, it is defaulted to, sorry about my login because I have more menu than normally because I belong to the R&D team. So we have a lot more. So actually I can, so every time you reset, this comes back to all needed. Okay, so moving on. We have a new procurement menu location. In the past, there is a special button called procurement over here. Now, the procurement falls under every function, right? Because it will reduce one click. So for example, you're in retail, here you are, you can just buy from here, or in wholesale, you just buy from here. Okay, everything else remains the same, but we just move the menu a little bit. Okay so far? Okay. Then we have new notification marker. Remember in the past, we do not know how many POs outstanding and how many sales orders are outstanding in the past. But now you can. Because so I'm going to give you an example. If I run this game, I'm going to make it really fast. Because in R&D we can. So I'm going to just go and buy something. For example. Okay, so I approve it. Now you will see that our PO list is now moved here, next to the inbox. So it's for quicker access. And eventually, you'll see a marker here. That means there's one outstanding. Ah, it's done. Why is it so quick?
That's because you use a robot.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, if it is outstanding, you see a marker such as this. Okay, so there is a marker. On the main menu, it's just a star, it's just an asterisk, but when you click, they will give you a number. Okay, so you can save you from clicking. Notification. Are we clear? Can I move on? Okay, now, and this is really thanks to Derek. He, by using his 3D, his BI tools, and then he told me one day, he said, I read in your document, it says that when the competitor runs out of stock, the consumer will run to your store if you still have stock. I said, yes, he said, but it's not true from what he analyzed. So we went back and then looked at the code, and yes, we missed a patch. So we have put that back into the game. So it makes the game so much more interesting going forward. So I'll show you one example. Okay, how dynamic it can be. I'm going to stop the game now, just to show you that concept. I'm going to reset to 0. Okay, then we'll start from 0. I will run the game. Forget all this forecasting, warehouse, etc. Production cannot be. Maintenance cannot be on. So we gotta turn off maintenance first before we turn on production. Okay, MRP, human resource, services. Okay, very quickly jump into. So turn off the e-commerce marketing. Turn off. Just retail, folks. Initialize it. I'm going to run it. Okay. So here we are. I'm going to. Did I have procurement? Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm going to let it run now. So if you look at my retail sales right now, units sold, they are pretty equal day by day, with some variation. And what is the variation is the daily variation, 5%. So this is a new feature also. But never mind, I'm going to show you what happened if I run out of stock, which means that I'm going to buy a lot of stock to one of the areas. So I'm going to buy 20,000 here, 20,000 here, 20,000 here, to Adelaide. So you will see that when the competitor run out of stock, my sales in Adelaide will be almost the summation of their shortage. Okay, so I have stopped now. So if you look at my retail sales, units sold. All right, this is almost 3 times, but it's not exactly. Are we clear so far? Okay, so this really will make the competition even more interesting, because just in retail alone, there's huge fluctuation. Okay. Okay. All right, so just to take you step by step, what happened is, this is, suppose you have 0 retail variation, so it's flat. Okay, so there's 3 areas. And then all the companies have stock to sell, so it shows that the different retail markets. And then, when one or more of your competitors run out of stock, and we still have stock, that means our sale unit sold will jump. Okay? It will jump, and then maintain. Now, this is drop in unit sale if we increase the price. Make sense? So if we increase the price, it drops down. but you cannot increase the price too much. Then you have zero sales. And then when you eventually, that is when you increase the price. If you drop the price by $6, then it will come back up. You see that this line is right in the middle. Okay, so you increase the price, it goes down. It's a unit sold. If you decrease the price, it goes up. All right? Which brings me to the next concept, which means that there is actually price elasticity here. If you notice just now, when I increase the price, the drop is different for different object, assuming no, so it's not a straight line. Okay, unevenness due to different price elasticity for each of the product. Same thing, when you reduce the price, it will increase by different so which one is more price elastic? Which is more price elastic? Which product is more sensitive to pricing? This one.
Blue one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All clear so far? Okay. Yes, sir.
I have one question that I was wondering. So that's great now that we have the competitor effect of running out of stock.
Yes.
My question is there a substitution effect between the products, right? So if I run out of melon juice, will I sell more orange juice, for example, if I still have that in stock? You can answer, I don't know, I'll find out, that's fine.
No, for sure it's no. I was just thinking about the best practice reason, the business
I don't mind, I just want to know.
no. Currently it's
Okay, so they're independent.
Can I try? Because in reality, when your product run out of stocks, user have an option to find a replacement. So I think in the business sense, they need to order other products. Even if the other options is they may have to wait for the new product to come in. So it is a user choice and it should not be made by the machines, I think. Even in the simulation game, if I run out of apple juice, you give me melon juice, it's not fair for me. Because they are different pricing and so on.
It depends on the products, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So something like this, for example, especially you're thinking, okay, that's retail, that's consumers, right? Somebody comes to my store, I'm thirsty, I want a drink.
Yeah.
I ask for melon juice, but you tell me I have none left today.
Yeah.
Am I really going to go away thirsty, or will I choose something that's not my preference, but I'll still buy it anyway, right? I'm thirsty, I want a drink, I like melon juice, you don't have any, okay, I'll buy apple juice, right? I might not,
Yeah,
but many people would, right? You could have a different scenario where you're selling tea, coffee, and juice, right? I come in for a coffee, I don't have any coffee left today, but I don't drink tea and I don't drink juice, so I won't buy tea or juice because I really came for a coffee, right? But I come for dark roast coffee and all you have is the light roast coffee, okay, I take the light roast coffee. So it depends on the products, what students and people would expect, in my opinion, as to whether they're substitutable or not.
all right. So that is something that we need to think about.
But
What
to
is
me,
the
that will be another decision that has to be
Right.
made by the user.
right? So should we call it product replacement?
Substitute.
Substitution.
Substitution or replacement.
Okay, good. I think we'll put that into our thoughts for the future.
To do this?
Okay. Now, retail demand daily variation. So this is the new one. If you go to your retail menu and then you click on, there's a new thing called retail demand. So you can change it, variation from 5%, 10%, 20%, and so on. Eventually, we may tie this into certain factors, like every 7 days, there's a variation. We're not sure. Right now, it's only 5, 10, 20, and all this thanks to Derek for his input. All right, so this is the example. So if there is no variation, this is what happened, and it's daily 5% variation, this is what happened, and 10% is more variation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the reasons why initially we do not have this variation is that we really want to show some concept to the beginners. So I would suggest that in the beginning class, maybe you don't want any variation because you want to show the rise and fall of the demand versus the price. Easier that way, but if you have variation, then they may get a bit complicated because it's two parameters now. All right, let's go on. Vendors out of stock. This is the new one. In the past, the vendor would never go out of stock. Unlimited supply, you can always buy. Right? Now, because of e-commerce, only because of e-commerce, we allow that. Because otherwise, there's no way to source for any product. I mean, the game will become very, very difficult. So because there is e-commerce, so this parameter only applicable when there is e-commerce. That means your vendor will go out of stock. Now, when will the vendor go out of stock? No one knows. The system will self-generate, so it's a period of about 2 to 5 days. So when it's out of stock for the 2 to 5 days, no one can buy from anyone. Everybody, okay, it's all stock out everywhere. So what you need to do is really go to the web and source for it. Or you use the umbrella purchase. Every 5 days, every 10 days, you break it into 5 shipments. Okay, so vendor out of stock is a new dynamics, and it will really throw a curveball to the students, and you don't need to apply this, but this is optional. Okay, so under the e-commerce, you have vendor allow, vendor stop. So if you turn it off, then it's always applicable. And when vendor is out of stock is in play, when you try to approve, you will get this message. Sorry, so you cannot even approve your purchases. All right? Same thing, if you turn off the process control, you say, I don't want any approval, it will still fail. It will still tell you that, sorry, vendor out of stock. Next, e-commerce. I'm jumping into e-commerce now. I'd like to show you a few things. First, you see this e-commerce, which has a star here, which means that something is outstanding. Okay, so this is your web market. This is your Alibaba, or this is your Amazon, Taobao in China. So we now use it MonsoonSIM web market for now. Maybe you can change it and get some sponsor from them, right? So if they say, I want to use my name, then maybe you can get them to help you on your competition. But right now it's fixed on MonsoonSIM web marketplace. When you click this, okay, next to it there are 2 things. Sales order and purchase order, correct? It's just what you buy, what you sell. Okay, in e-commerce. And when you come here, first thing first is you see a search here. And that is very important because in the e-commerce, there's tons of items in there. So I think the first thing you do is search. There's no way you just do a browsing. Okay? When you search for something, it will come out. Now, we make it easy for you. I don't know about today's Alibaba and so on, but we make it into one page. So you have seller, which means that this is the buyer, and this is the seller. One side is buyer, one side is seller. And these other items that is buying, paying for each, and shipment delivered, expected delivered how many days? Same thing. So you have 2 choices. You have to click we sell or we buy. So you can do both. Sell, buy. There's reputation star here. Now, this is very important going forward. So if you fail to deliver, you will have, so the star is average. So let's say the first time you fail, let's say you send the wrong goods, you get 0 star. And next time you send on time, you get 5 star. And the next day you'll see is 2.5 star. Okay, it's average out. And here you can pause it. So this is something that you pause. So you say, no, I'm not ready to sell now. So you pause it. Just like what you can do on the web, I'm sure. Any questions so far? On e-commerce? So you can buy, you can sell. And not only that, you can post. So you can post as a seller, and you can post as a buyer. So if you don't want to post, you just do your buying and selling, no problem. But if you want to say, okay, I just want to open a new store on the market, you say post as seller, post as buyer. Okay? Okay so far? All right. Yes.
In terms of the futures, right?
Yes.
In terms of we buy a large quantity, normally,
Yes.
can we, let's say, like add on the bargaining?
No, no bargaining at this point.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so these are the 5 items. Now, when you sell something, let's say you see or someone want to buy, so you say sell. Upon selling, you need to allocate, correct? So you have to do manual allocation, packing and shipping. If you ignore this, which means that your customer, the buyer, new product, will be waiting. And after 10 days, they will cancel and you'll get 0 star. So if you sell, you better allocate. Now, when you allocate, this is different. You can allocate manually. You can allocate from 4 places, either from the warehouse or from the retail store. So you don't need to ship to the warehouse and then ship, no. So you can allocate immediately and say, okay, I want to ship 2,000 from here, 10,000 from here to 100 from here, and then ship. Okay? And you can also select overnight shipping, which will add cost to a seller. So let's say you're late already, you say, okay, I want to speed it because I'm already late. So you you have to pay 2% extra, it's fast delivery. Or normal, I think it's 1 or 2 days delivery. But you risk getting a bad reputation. Clear so far? And here are the stars. If you complete, now there is a comment here, excellent, a bit late, and this is extremely late. Okay, and again, the stars are all average out. Okay, and at the receiving end, PO, you now get the shipping list. So you can see what are being shipped to you. Alright, so because you are ordering this many, 2,000 product of apple juice at this price, but you may get something less. Because the seller is selling you something less than what you have bought. It's in play. So you can order 3,000, but the seller send you 2,500. It still go, right? I mean, e-commerce, you can do whatever you want. You can just send, you can even send the wrong product. But what will happen is that seller has the right to cancel your stock if they look. So they have 5 days of QC in the receiving end. So when the product comes in, you have 5 days to QC. Now QC will automatically check for you, so we don't want to burden the player. If the product comes in correct, all good, it immediately QC passed. QC will only fail if there's something wrong with the product. It's not according to your spec. So there's a flag called QC fail. At which point you have 2 choices. You can accept, which means that's it, or you can cancel. If you cancel, that means you get your money back. Because the money in e-commerce is now in the escrow account. So when you sell, the money, let's say when you buy, you need to first put your money in the escrow account before the seller allocate. Otherwise, the seller will not allocate until there is money in the escrow account. Okay? And then what will happen to you when you buy something, your money is in escrow, in your cash, it has been reduced. And it will turn into account receivable. You're waiting for product to come in. And when the product comes in, it's reversed. Your inventory go up and your account receivable go down. Okay, so far.
Right now, how many middlemen in this process?
How many middlemen? How many?
The group account.
How many?
The
Sorry?
man in between that you park the money first after that.
Escrow, only one.
Only one, right?
Yeah, which is this guy.
Any charge?
No charge yet. Good point. But we probably add some charge there, or as you know, the e-commerce, Tokopedia will charge something. Yes, sir.
So the e-commerce thing is only for finished goods or for raw materials as well?
For raw material and finished goods. And we are soon going to add even asset. So we're going to dump, you will be able to sell machine later.
Or buy a used one?
Or buy a used one, or buy a used machine.
Mhm.
But again, all this version 7 will only be up officially April 1st, end of March. So this is just a preview, but I can show you all this is there already. But after today, you're welcome to become our beta tester. So any one of you want to be, so for example, right now only one person, which is Derek, is a beta. So any of you want to, are you a beta tester? So I'm sure a lot of them already. Just let Jackie know, and Jackie will set you up so you can run version 7 as a trial. Okay, you can see all this feature. Any other question?
When you upgrade to version 7 for
Yes.
us as
Yes.
an instructor, do we still have an option to run version 6?
Of course,
Okay.
of course. You have like
How long?
3-4 months to do it. We don't know when to cut off, but eventually, when version 7, after April 1st, maybe we'll give you 1 month. Because we want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. So you can still use version 6 and try your version 7, okay? Any other question on e-commerce? Okay, so you can sell raw material and also machine. This is your star. Okay, so now, what happens if you send the wrong items? Okay, so let's say you order 3,400, but you pack, you purposely only pack one product. You manually allocate one product, and you say enough, go ship. So what will happen is on the receiving end, they will get cancelled. Okay, and so on. All right, that's e-commerce. Any other question?
Any configuration for CD on the e-commerce side?
E-commerce, there is no configuration right now, but coming soon, within a few weeks, you will see demand. Maybe you can set demand, maybe like between 5,000 to 20,000, 5,000 to whatever, so that all the numbers come out will be in that range. Okay, now I'm going to show you a live demo of e-commerce. Okay. So here I am. I'm going to turn on just e-commerce. Okay, now I have 4 teams, which is pure buyer, post to buy, post to sell, and pure seller. Just for, just for demo purpose. Okay, and now I'm going to start. Initialize. Okay, so I'm going to be as a pure seller for now. I'm logging as pure seller. So notice I can look at my name here quite quickly. So I'm pure seller. I run the game. Okay, so go. So first thing I go here, I'm a pure seller, so I just want to sell. I don't want to do anything else but selling. So I look at this, I can search, whether it's orange juice, or, okay, there's some orange juice. If I want to search for some melon juice. Now, if we play production, then all the raw materials will show up here also. Okay, but right now, because we don't have production, so it's only the 3 finished goods. So apple juice, now here you can also sort by star, price, quantity, and don't care. Because currently, don't care. Okay, or you can sell, I just want to sell it, I just want to buy it. Up to you. But anyway, I found my product, so I'm going to go back to apple juice just to, okay, so in apple juice, I just want to sell. So I click this guy, 4,200, 4 days, looks good, I sell. Now remember earlier, I can now do manual allocate. So now I'm going to allocate, so if I allocate from Adelaide, I want to sell 2,200, and from Canberra, I will sell 2,000. So total is 4,200. Overnight or 3 day? It's my choice. So overnight. That's it. So it's going to allocate from these 2 areas. Now, because I have run out of stock, right? So I better go buy. What day is this? 14th. So I go to retail and then I'll buy some product. I'll buy from one vendor. I'll ship to. Oh my God! I need to ship to 2 products. So let's buy 20,000 here, 20,000 here, and 20,000 here, and buy from another guy. What's the other area? Canberra.
The third one, yeah.
Okay, third one. 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. Okay. So these are the 2. So you see this e-commerce? There's a star, and here's 1 sales order outstanding. Oh, good. It's delivered. It came in so fast. Okay, because we have a very fast clock here, just for demo. So it's being shipped. Notice that deal day is 9, need day, because 4 days, right, just now, so it becomes 13, and funds in escrow sometimes is immediately, so day 9 gets into the escrow, and then fully allocated 22, just 3 days ago, fully allocated, and shipped out on day 22, and payment received on 22, so I got my money. Now delivered. So it's not delivered yet. Let me check. It's delivered, but extremely late. Okay, so you can look at your finance and you can look at your. Okay, I'm going to go to my trial balance and look at my account. I was selling, right? Which means that I have account payable, no? Am I buying or selling?
You sell.
I'm selling.
Receivable.
So, receivable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just wait for, because you have to wait for a certain
No,
time.
I think it's payable.
No.
No.
Receivable.
Receivable?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's see.
It's your customer.
That because it's day 35 already.
It's already received money into the bank.
You just-
Oh yeah, it's already, so I look at the cash.
That's too fast.
Let me go to the cash. Which day was I, 20 something?
23? Yes.
23.
But no more, because in the between you must have certain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sales revenue, shipment cost, the additional charge for sales order. Finished goods.
Supposed to be not in cash, but in certain times.
Okay, so now I'm going to slow down the clock a bit just to show you what actually happened. So I'm going to slow down the clock.
Yes, but I don't know how long for the exact user.
Okay, so let's do it again. I'm going to initialize the game and run again, so it's also good for us to go into the detail a little bit. Run.
Now you are over 16 minutes.
Oh, by 16 minutes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm done. Okay, so what happened? I'm pretty much done for version 7, but I can show you the detail. Anyone want me to show you the detail of this? I can.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the 20-day and run this. Okay, it's running now. So let's say I am just a pure seller. I go to web market. I'm going to sell this. Go. And then of course I still have stock here, so I'm going to allocate all from my stock here, which is from Adelaide, 2,800. Go. No, before I do that, the fund is in escrow, so I'm selling. So it should be the buyer side that have to fund in the escrow. So let me just go to the other side. I'm buying, yeah?
Yeah.
Let me just buy. I'm going to ship to Adelaide.
Because they keep the money. But the explanation
Okay. So I'm buying, so if I look at my trial balance, I have account receivable.
Yeah.
Because escrow paid this much, right? So I take out from my cash and I put it into the web market. So when I receive the product, it will get reversed.
How long for the escrow will pay you back?
immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. So now if I look at the e-commerce, and then I do a buying, right? So I look at my purchase. Okay, it's almost here. Once it's here, you can see the reverse, and then you will see the inventory. You have the inventory. Okay. So that is. I don't want to rush. Yes.
Can the teams buy and sell from each other?
Yes. Yes. So yes. So you can buy from each other in e-commerce. So if you post, sell, buy.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Because you're also a poster. You can post as a seller, buyer.
We're gonna have the sessions of talk about this.
Anything else on e-commerce before I jump to the next one? Okay, so now I should be in. It's not in yet. Oh no, this is the other one. Okay, okay, inspection passed, so completed, right? So if I look at my finance trial balance, you can see my account receivable. It's now balanced, yeah. I pay out to the escrow, and then I got my inventory. Okay, if you check the inventory, you should get this amount of stock into your store. I think it's being sold also. Okay, any more questions? Otherwise, I'm going to jump to the next topic, which is data generator, CSV.
Yeah. Good.
You like it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, again, thanks to the Derek's, thanks to his research, he has been. By the way, can I share your June thing?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So Derek Lal is going to integrate MonsoonSIM to an e-commerce tool called Tableau, and he will present the case in Florida, American Association of Accountants in June. I would like to go along and give him some support. So as today, I think it's just a preview of what he's going to show. So is that right?
Well, it's only 30 minutes today, right? So
Yes.
not
So
terrible.
yeah. All right. So now, I think also Paramin also has been asking this. I must say for a long time. They say, "Can I get the data? Can I get the data?" So when you, so from now on, every chart that you see here, you can
Export.
allow them to download CSV. Okay, so your student, so your student can really study and do a lot of analysis. Now, not only that, in the city, you can observe. For example, you can now. Now let me stop the game, but you have to stop the game first, yeah. Once the game is stopped, you can do this, export game KPI, which means that you can select what do you want to export. We'll give you up to 20 KPI.
Okay.
So you can select, cost, whatever you want. Okay, if you get up to there, and then you just say submit and download. That's your CSV, and I'm going to open this, and that's your Excel. Okay, and it's nicely put in columns for you. Thank you. Okay, so you just import to whatever tools you want. Cognos, what, Excel. Okay, and not only that, the file is now located in the My Document. So you can also send this file to your user. Okay, so that is version 7. I still have a few things, but let me just show you the multi-language support very quickly. So now you can click here and click, you see this little icon, and you can say, okay, I want it in Mandarin. Okay, so the whole thing is in Mandarin. We only support Mandarin for now, and Paramin will help me on the other one, on the Thai. Okay, so that is version 7. Thank you very much.